My hat! Right, so in this part, I'm going to be removing the battery holders, these here. Now, there's already one screw from each side that I have removed from the skid plates. I need to remove that just to release the skid plate. As you see here, it went in there and over here. Now, I did not see any screws here on this other side, but you may have to, so this would sit here, like this. You may have to, actually no, the holes don't oh, do they? No, maybe. There might be a screw holding the back, so you will see if this lifts or not. Again, I don't know if this has been worked on or not, but you may have to remove a second screw, which would go here and there. But this vehicle did not have it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Other than that, you will have a few others to worry about, which will be, based on what I can see, this screw here, and then I have two more over here, and hopefully that is all, because I'm not seeing a screw back here in this other area. So hopefully it's just those three on each side. So let's go ahead and get going. And I think these were 2.5 on this side. This one. All right, so the top, I mean, right now it looks like the bottom, but it's actually the top. The top one is the one that's a 2mm. So we'll go ahead and remove the top rear. And I think that is good. And then the front ones. The very front one is easy. It's just there. And I'm not sure if these are different lengths, so I'm going to have to check with the previous ones that I removed. And they do appear to be different lengths. So that one's smaller, so I have to place it in a different section. It's from the wheels. Let's go ahead and check this one. This one, are they different lengths? Yes, they are significantly different. And here we go. So, all right, the top two happen to be the same. And let's see, is this a screw or a clip? And there is a screw there. So because there's a screw, I do not want to pull on it until I figure out how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and push the button and open this. So if I push, this will lift. Should lift. There we go. And that's how you access. And this one is pretty rusted. No, actually not too bad. This one is a countersunk screw. This is a countersunk screw. It's the only countersunk screw, so that should be pretty easy. Here we go. And I'm just going to leave the screw in there. I'm going to go ahead and close this so the screw stays in place. Perfect, and that is it. And that screw is going to stay in there, and I will be placing this over here. And man, this is something I really like. I really like this aluminum chassis, the way it's built. It reminds me of the Savage by HPI. They had a, well, it wasn't similar, but you had the vertical chassis plates. So here I have flipped the vehicle over. Now this one is missing a screw up here in the front, so I will not have one. So I have that one there, and that's something I have to make a note of, which I guess I just did in the camera, but when I do the reassembly, that way I don't go mad looking for that screw, which sometimes that happens, especially when you're working on somebody else's vehicle. If you're working on your own, you just find one that's the same size and to call it good. I just don't think I have one that's this size. Right, there we go. Now the other thing too is once you remove those plates, that's it. See, the front, actually this is the rear. No, this is the front, I apologize. The front end, that's how you would remove it. And then the rear, We'll need a few more screws, not a big deal, but this is how you remove the front end, which is what we wanted. So at this point, I'm going to open the battery tray. It's this thing, he's had fun with it. All right, here we go. There's quite a bit of dirt. I'm probably just going to assemble it as is and then grab my air compressor and just blow air through it. That usually works. But here we go. All right, there should be another screw over here, 2.5. Here it is. And then this comes out. And that is it. So battery trays are off. Now, one thing to note is that the switch is attached. So let me go ahead and, actually I shouldn't have put the screw in here. But be careful with this wire for the switch. You don't want to fray the wire. So just going to, well, I'm just going to, should I leave it or should I remove it? I'm debating on whether I should leave it or remove it. For now, let me just get rid of this screw. But just be careful with it. Let's see, could leave it. It's not in the way. It's just taped there. I'm sure it looks like somebody put some different type of adhesive in there. Maybe this truck was worked on prior. But just going to remove the wire slowly. And you know what? Yeah, somebody put some glue on here. So I'm actually not going to mess with it just because somebody put some glue. It looks like somebody put some CA glue to hold this on. So I'm just going to leave it off to the side. Especially after that discovery. So we will just leave it here, which will be a pain now though. But oh well, that's what we will do. Alright, and there we have it. So we have the two battery trays. Now this one here is broken, slightly there, but not a big deal, it will still hold. And at this point, I will shift this over. And this front end, you have to do two things. You have to remove this shaft, and the question is here or there. I'm going to remove it here. Just for the purposes of this, I want this to be shorter. As you can see, limited space. Then I'm going to have to flip it, and I'm going to have to remove the screws that hold the shocks in place. Let's see, it should be a 2mm. Yep, like a 2mm. And I'm just going to remove this screw here in the collar, so you have a little pressure screw type of thing, pin, right? It's like a little set screw, but with a pin. And I'm just going to set it back in the collar, that way I don't lose it. So it'll be right in here. And these shafts are very nice shafts. They are aluminum shafts. This is all metal. These U-joints. This I'll probably just douse with WD-40 later on. WD-40 is your friend. I just need to be somewhat careful. There we go. By somewhat careful, I need to be careful. Alright. So now I'm just going to remove the top screws. And that'll release the shock. Now, again, you don't have to worry, these shocks are not in compression. So you can just remove this, and then you can just push it out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this back in, just so I don't lose that screw. But that is it. If I want to remove this here, I could. But right now, this is one of those moments again where I don't want to stick my head in there. But I may have to. I actually pulled this. Alright. And the front end will come off shortly after we remove the shock and the front bumper. Alright. So in order to remove the front end, the assumption is you remove those skid plates. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Now I'll just push the shock out of the way, and Then I'll drop the screw and move it over here, that way I have more space. Alright, here we go. So at this point, the front end really wants to come out now. As you can see, it's still attached, and it's just attached here. I'm going to go ahead and remove these two body clips, and then I'm going to lift this up, and that is it. So this has been released. Now this was not plugged in apparently. There should be a little connector in here. There it is. It probably just came loose now. So there's that little connector, that extension. That's where it plugs in. Alright, so we are good. Let me place this over here. That's for the battery mount. And we have our front end, which is right here. So we have unmated the front end, and on the next one, we're going to start tearing the front end apart. Thank you so much for watching.